It's very guru-ish.
Yeah, do you like it, sort of thing? Or do you maybe slightly dislike it?
Pretty ambivalent, really.
Or do you not give a damn?
Don't give a damn.
Yeah, I like those. I haven't got a problem with it.
No.
But the thing is, it's very guru-ish.
No, exactly, exactly.
And a picture of Tony.
And a candle, probably. And a scarf.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or a scarf.
if ever I see you wear a scarf.
Oh, yeah.
Scarf. Just wipe the sweat and throw it to the adoring.
Some gurus wear this.
The Marley.
Yeah.
Scarf.
Have we started, James?
Necklace.
James, have we started? Oh, we've started, right.
We were chatting, and now that we've started,
Yeah.
we're now waiting.
For the next pearls of wisdom to be
Next
answered.
question. So, are you waiting for the next question?
No.
That's the difference, isn't it? I'm waiting for the next question. You just asked it. Yeah. I couldn't bear waiting any longer.
Had enough of waiting. Well, generally, me doesn't like silence, does it?
I quite like it.
Whatever likes silence isn't me. Me likes doing. By the way, I could do silence meditation, you know. But I mean, doesn't like that. He's impatient. He's waiting to get something. Never really knows what. And of course it's never satisfying, apart from
It's always pretty uncomfortable.
fleeting. Waiting is, yeah. You ask people about, they hate, virtually universally people hate queuing, hate waiting for what they, because they just want to fulfill their, whatever me says it wants. It's just, I was really impatient. And it's not that I've now become patient. I wouldn't want to suggest that one of the great benefits of liberation is the complete lack of impatience. Wouldn't that be great? No. But all impatience is really just not getting what you decide me says will fulfill me in this moment. In this moment, my immediate target, my immediate goal for fulfillment is this. And I really want it. I want it now. And of course, in the fulfillment of it, then immediately me formulates the next thing that will bring me fulfillment. That more or less summarises most people's lives, the sense of constantly moving forward
What did you say?
towards fulfillment. I'm getting closer. I'm moving towards what will. And while the sense of self can convince itself, if I can convince myself that I am moving towards it, then you could say that is a definition of happiness. So I've got a certain level of happiness because I'm going in the right direction. If you fall off the rails, which me inevitably will, because life will show you you're not in control. You could say that's what all breakdown is. That's what all depression is. Life just showing you that you were never in control. All that everyone else tries to do, all the other selves we collude together to support each other to get back on the rails and to get back on the path towards becoming happy. That's the word that everyone uses. That is the word for me, isn't it? That's the ultimate me word is happiness. And I'd like to say that happiness is a complete and utter delusion created by me. I have absolutely no idea what happiness is at all. None. I just see it as an integral part of the sense of self is this seeking happiness. From very early on, everyone said to me, who loved me, said, all I want for you is to be happy. I heard that as my job to meet my parents, my teachers, my friends, my grandparents, everyone, is to be happy. So what did I do? I walked around all day, every day, with a big smile on my face, regardless of what the hell was going on. I know so many people who do that.
And the irony is you're doing that to make them happy.
I'm doing that to avoid them rejecting me as an abject failure, because I've failed to do the one thing, the only thing that they wanted for me, which was happiness. They told me they didn't want anything, so it was happiness was much more important than doing well at school. They could cope with me getting a C instead of a B. It was much more important than sport, although sport was, so it was much more important than making the team. So I had to be happy about not making the team. When of course I wasn't happy, I was miserable as hell. I was bereft, but I had to pretend I was okay. And so a lot of the sense of self is this lying. And the lie can get so good that you lie to yourself. It's not, there's a lying to self as well as the world, to everyone else.
And is it because of the fear of the repercussions?
The fear is that I'll be rejected because I've not
It's
achieved.
ostracisation.
Yeah, it's been lack of approval
Yeah.
from those who you
apparently love you.
Well, they do love you. So they say.
But you think they wouldn't actually do
Well,
well.
no, because everyone fears rejection. Yeah, and so if I'm miserable, one of the hardest things of being depressed is that people reject you, because they do, because they're very uncomfortable with your sadness. Sadness is one of the great taboos. We've got a real taboo around sadness.
I love sadness.
Whereas sadness is the most natural. It's just as natural as being joyous. Joy and sorrow, I like the word sorrow, an old-fashioned word, but sorrow is a really good word, I think. Joy and sorrow are they're the same. They're not two separate things at all. Joy and sorrow are equally love.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Sorrow is just absolutely full of love. But we've been taught, because we've got this happiness, our society has just gone mad for this, hasn't it? It's just insane. And it is insanity, because it makes sorrow the enemy. It makes sadness the enemy, and happiness the good guy. There is no good guy or enemy. It's just life. And all of those feelings, they're all love. Of course they are. You know how much there is in love there is in sorrow. It's probably much greater love. It's much more intense. There is no greater love than grief, than loss of love. So maybe in physical death, but in loss of a lover, say, or loss of someone, loss of love. It's huge. That's so intensely love. And it's beautiful. Dreadfully beautiful. And I think we all know this, but because it is painful, we shy away from it and pretend that, I've got it wrong somehow. We've been taught that it's wrong. And we then teach ourselves and reinforce this constant sense of, okay, to feel this way, I must be doing something wrong. There's not only am I doing something wrong, there's something wrong with me. That's what me says. And by the way, it's not just me saying that, it's always reinforced by nearly everyone around you. They will do their utmost to say, well, what help are you getting with that? It's no good just lying in bed. That's not going to solve it, is it? Get up, you lazy bastard. Sort yourself out. And and just, rather than sorrow, just being sorrow.
And it is beautiful because it's a natural
Totally
thing.
natural.
It's completely understandable.
Yeah,
Particularly if there's
the most
a
beautiful.
me
Yeah.
sort of feeling sorry for itself. Well, that's just completely understandable.
If you look
so
at,
therefore, that's beautiful.
and it's not, and of course, it's not exclusively human. You look at dogs when they lose, say they lose their master or they lose their owner. They're bereft. They're full of grief. It's totally natural. So for me, it's not a me thing, but then me takes it, and what it does with it is it makes it wrong. And there's the suffering. The suffering is not the sorrow. The suffering is the making sorrow wrong. And you make sorrow wrong, of course it is immensely more painful than sorrow per se is absolutely beautifully dreadful. It's completely natural. We're social animals, there doesn't have to be a self, and this is the other thing that self says, well, those feelings were mine, they're mine.